46. Yes,
Hello, welcome to Dudes Watch Movie Podcast. Do you want to go both? Episode 46. We watch Eastern Promise. We talk about the accent, obviously, and we talk about the naked fight scene. I think.
Oh yeah, don't you know? You know the nude fight scenes. I really think that's a real go-getter. Don't you know? Who was
I don't want. I started going into yours. I don't want to put you on spot, but now you must do one. Why don't you get us hopping on those details, Mr. Dietz?
I'm going to go to the details first. By the way, I'd like to announce that this is a film directed by David Cronenberg. It's
That would
really
be
an
a detail,
announcement.
right?
I'm just going in there.
Right. That seems like a detail.
Well,
Yep.
I'm just going...
Who are we?
Because when you tell me Dietz, my mind is like, what do you mean, who are we?
I'm
Am I
you
doing
as
the intro?
You are me, and
You just did
you
the
are
intro.
we, and
Hi, I'm Thomas. This is Kirk and Lance.
There we go.
Welcome. You're supposed to do that. That's your part. Anyway, hey,
Getting
we're
feisty.
here.
it's that angry German coming out.
that
It's
German
because
coming
I've
out, yeah.
got like notes, and
Yeah.
I'm just
He
so
needs to have his
methodical. It needs
bratwurst
to
and
be
It's
this-
if
his
he doesn't,
ale.
if it doesn't go according to the ultimate solution,
We really just need to give him an Ansch list and let him just take over Austria, and Czechoslovakia, and
Enjoy that.
Then he'll be happy.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Mein Führer. Go ahead.
Fuck off. Oh shit, we're probably in the first 30 seconds. Anyway, hey, Eastern Promises is what we had watched. I assume, I don't know. I wasn't really paying attention to you and your poor Russian accent, but yes, episode 46, Eastern Promises, came out September 21st, 2007, rated R for obvious reasons, or R for Russian. Ha!
I thought it was R for obvious reasons.
That's terrible.
Ruffles
Anyway,
Tom.
as I was going back, David Cronenberg. He is also known
Cronenberg.
for Cronenberg, not
It's a
Conan.
German name. Jeez,
like
you should be able to pronounce.
He is also
don't know
known
that's true.
for A History of Violence, The Fly, and Scanners, to name a few. I looked at his whole list, and a lot of the films I've never heard of.
Before we get super deep, I do want to also point out that I definitely meant to watch A History of Violence.
I'm glad you made that mistake.
Yeah.
Because
It's-
History of Violence is worse than this movie.
Yeah, I think that's the
hadn't
one that
seen
was
it.
always on like the top 10 like hardest to watch movies or whatever. But I think this is a recurring theme where I watch a movie and mean it to be another one because it definitely happened with Jackie Chan, The Drunken Master.
Oh, yeah.
Remember, I thought it was
'cause
gonna
you
be the
wanted
other one,
The
yeah.
second one.
Mm-hmm.
So let me go over the plot line with you. It is a film about the pinnacle of exposed wiener combat. Just kidding. The film's plot is a Russian teenager living in London who dies during childbirth leaves clues to a midwife in her journal that could tie her child to a rape involving violent Russian mob family. Excuse me. Let me hit you. Actually, no, you hit me with these taglines. What did you think the tagline of the film was? Or could it
Nico, it's your cousin. Let's go bowling.
In Mother Russia, crime solve you.
Yeah. Mine was, hey, that's a penis. No, the actual tagline is every sin leaves a mark. Which,
I mean, yeah, that
makes
might
a
be
lot
the
more
first good
sense.
one that we've had since we started doing those.
right.
I have an issue with that.
Okay.
I'll hit it later. It'll come up. It's about the tattoos.
Hold
It'll
a
come up.
thought on that deal. I'll hit you with those box office details. The budget, it's in pounds, so 25 million pounds. Opening weekend only made 547,000.
What's that in freedom dollars?
I don't know.
It's like $8
I
or
didn't bother
something.
to take the time to do that.
Conversion.
And then
2007, we said? So that would have been
Yes.
weaker than the dollar?
I don't know. No, I think the pounds are
We're
always
still in a
more
recession.
than
I know
so-
the euros are, but I don't know.
pounds are too. When I was in Europe, it fucked me over hard.
Hmm.
So you know that top hat I bought? It was on the shelf for 40 pounds, and I was like, 40 bucks ain't bad. And then I bought it, and then I walked away, and I was like, oh, a pound is like $2 American. That was an $80 fucking hat I just bought. What the fuck just happened?
What I've been told to do is you go and buy like a cheeseburger from McDonald's. Because we know what those are.
It's a
and what they
Royale
should
with cheese
cost.
or whatever, right?
Fuck you, Pulp Fiction. We know what those are, but you get a basis for. Oh, this is a 5-pound burger. That's $6, 7, 8, 10 in American, whatever. Fuck you.
We had the topic the other day. We were trying to figure out where did Royale come from. Like when they was like, it's a battle royale. I'm like,
Yeah.
it's just battle royal.
Yeah,
Where
it's definitely
did
battle
Royale
royal,
become
right.
such a catchy term, other than maybe Pulp Fiction?
The anime,
The what?
Battle Royale.
The
I
Asian
know the
movies
movie,
with
but I
live
haven't seen
action
anime.
people.
Yeah. It was also a manga, wasn't it?
I don't
Back to the fucking Eastern
the
Promises.
yeah.
Yeah.
You got sidetracked. Super. That might be record time.
Gross USA. Gross USA, it made 17 million. So I don't think they ever made their budget back whatsoever.
Wait. What was their? I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention. Their budget was
25 million pounds estimated.
and it made 17 US.
I'm gonna say
Gross
that's like
US.
3/4 of its money back, roughly,
Probably.
because math.
I mean, the movie was pretty good overall.
You know, I'm not surprised though. Like, this isn't one of those, man, I gotta go see that in the movie theaters kind of movies. You know what I'm saying?
There wasn't a whole lot of extra. Well, I guess I don't know why it was so expensive, other than maybe shot costs and like locations and
Location.
stuff. Because like there wasn't a
Actors.
whole lot going on that was a spectacular thing.
Viggo Mortensen was kind of at declining. He hasn't been anything big since Return of the King, right? So okay, that's the horse one, right?
Yeah.
And then History of Violence. And then this.
The Road.
Oh, The Road. That came out later, though, didn't it?
After, I think, yeah.
Was that really big?
No.
I
No.
didn't much care for that movie.
I don't think he's a butts and seats kind of actor.
He's no Tom Cruise.
No, he's more of a, if you like acting, you like him kind of.
If you like Lord of the Rings, go watch him in these other films.
Yeah.
No. Either
Not
way, yes,
anymore.
cast. Viggo
Yeah.
Mortensen is in there. We have Naomi Watts as Anna, and then Vincent Castle as Krill. It's not Krill. It's Creel. Yeah, there's an extra I in there.
Krillin.
Armin Mueller as Simon. I'm trying to think of the other guy who's probably more known, because a lot of these are just kind of...
The gentleman that plays the detective is Maester Luwin in Game of Thrones.
That's why he looks so familiar.
Yeah. He's the one that's like teaching Bran when Bran's not a little weirdo yet.
Okay. That's why. I was trying to think the mobster boss family. I'm like, he looks familiar. Is he from Thrones?
I don't think so.
No.
So do we want to go over what our overall trailer thoughts are? The non-spoiler trailer thoughts? Trailer trash thoughts?
See, this is where I wish we were like super white trash hot chicks, because then we could be trailer thoughts, like THOTS. Trailer thoughts. Get it? Because
I refuse.
in a trailer.
I refuse to laugh at that.
Okay, well, I thought it was good. Anyways, my trailer
Dulcet
thought,
tones.
the only thing I picked out from that trailer was what happened to the trailer voice guy.
Oh, yeah.
That's like the end of his timeline is like 08, and then it was boom, boom, or like
I don't think, is
remix
there
things.
really much of an announcer anymore talking
No,
over the film? It's
never
always
seen
just
him.
actual dialogue from the film.
Yep. But that's one thing
subtitles.
that's why I wasn't surprised that this movie didn't do so hot, because after watching that trailer, I was like, okay, I
So
didn't
now
really get me pumped for the movie.
I was expecting mobster Aragon. Fuck, I forgot his name.
Aragorn.
Mobster fucking Return of the King here with guns. There's not one fucking gun in this entire movie.
Yeah, it's
There's
in
a
London.
reason.
Yeah, I know that, but they're
Well,
mobsters.
there's also another reason for
Yeah,
that
they're in
too.
London.
I'll go over that reason with you here in a little bit.
Yeah.
What was that movie with McAvoy and
Split.
Mark Strong?
No.
The one where he's a detective?
Yeah,
Oh, fuck, I don't remember the name of it, but I know what you're
that's the
talking about.
exact same movie. It's like even the cops don't have guns.
Yeah, they don't.
I get it.
It's a big thing.
I get it, but it's a movie.
Lahane?
We got.
Lahane is a French movie, and it's starring the guy that plays Kirill in this, and that's the whole point of that movie is one person has a handgun, and
James
that
McAvoy and who?
And they are the god.
James McAvoy and who?
Mark Strong.
I'd like to know this. Not Mark Rufio.
he plays a detective that's a real fucking shithead.
Yeah.
Welcome
pretty
to the
much.
Punch.
Yeah, that's right.
Never even heard of that.
It was on
2013
Netflix for a long time.
Thriller action.
I mean, that was a pretty good movie, even though it didn't have guns in it. This has nothing.
Lance,
I'll go over that.
Lance,
later.
your America is showing.
Mortensen. It is.
Your
It
American
is
privilege is showing.
My
No.
American is showing.
The reason behind doing that actually was because if you're a mobster and you get checked by the police, it's lamination cutting knives. They're just laminated, like they cut laminate. That's what they work for. So that way it can be like, why do you have guns? You must be clearly a mobster.
You must be mob boss
just
to have
help
gun.
keep you under the radar.
It's only
you know?
9 mil. It's not dangerous. It's for protection.
It'll only go through two
Two,
and a
yeah.
half fire extinguishers.
I'm glad we watched that first. Got a little gunplay action.
Right.
What else we got in there?
I'll give you my trailer thoughts here. I said it looked basically like a decently made gangster movie with a little hint of mystery, as well as one of those who's who and what secrets are being passed around type of film. It's kind of what I caught, because they had that little, but then Now, going back to the trailer voice guy, I do have a question. Does that mean Honest Trailers is going to get an audience that's not going to understand why he's reading things in that voice?
If he doesn't already.
I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say no to that because I think Honest Trailers' target demographic is people our age who remember that. I think that's part of the joke is that we remember those trailers.
I suppose. Anyway, cool. I mean, that's most of the top details and stuff. Would you like to start off on whatever?
That's spoiler free.
This is my favorite
Spoiler-free?
Christmas movie ever.
Hey, spoilers. I'm gonna kick it off here with it's a super good movie, like technically, but I feel like it's one of those movies that you kind of have to watch more than once to really fully grasp what's happening. You know what I'm saying? Like you can follow the story, but once a couple twists are done, I think it would benefit to go back and see some of the foreshadowing going on.
100%.
But ending was a little bit of a wet blanket, just a little bit.
That's kind of what I had on mine. I felt I was a bit shortchanged at the end. Too much that was left to what happened. But they also plan on making a second one that never came to fruition.
I have that on here too, because
They're starting shooting now, aren't they?
I don't know. I
Are
didn't
they?
Look up on the
That's what the first thing I saw pop up.
please do, because I was thinking at the end is like I want a sequel a la Sicario, where we follow the character in Sicario. It's Benicio del Toro's character, but we don't follow we wouldn't follow up with what's her name?
The lady,
The blonde
chick with
lady,
the
yeah, the
baby
doctor.
that no one cares.
Naomi Watts. We won't follow her because her arc is done. Just like in the first Sicario, they follow the lady cop, but her arc is done, so she's not in the second one. Because I want to know more about, which we'll get into later, but I want to know more about Viggo Mortensen's character going forward. What happens?
And that ends our spoiler-free thoughts, I believe. Anyway,
Lance didn't even get up his on.
oh, I'm sorry. Well, go ahead. Do you have
What was I? Oh, about overall.
Spoiler-free thoughts?
Yeah.
It's all right. I'm trying not to be too American to say I need gunplay,
Sounds
but
like-
I need action of some kind, and not a whole lot happens.
There's
And there are some things that, I mean, tattoos play a big role. They say they play a big role, but they really don't.
Only do like in certain sections.
Even then,
Yeah.
but
would-
it's all right.
I would say this is.
I wouldn't watch it again.
This is more of a movie for fans of The Godfather versus Scarface, maybe.
A watered-down Godfather.
It's like Godfather's more cerebral, Scarface is more in your face, and that's kind of. I think I was expecting it to be a little bit more violent in your face because of Cronenberg, but he is also kind of the cerebral, weird guy. Now it can be done.
By the way, the second one, there is new news on that. It came out January 14th of this year, so maybe they are continuing. I saw something on there where they didn't want to. And also back to Sicario 2, I wouldn't watch it.
I'm gonna eventually.
It sounds great as the first one.
Neither is John Wick 2.
Is that-
What's your
is that-
point? Still good.
Well, I mean,
Is that the one where he puts his finger in the trigger and then?
yeah, the trailer.
So weird. Anyway, that was Eastern Promises.
So now that we're into the
listen. If you've ever wanted to see,
You want to take that again from the top once you? No, seriously,
No,
we can cut
no.
it. We can cut it. We can cut it.
no, if you ever wanted to see an actor's flaccid penis that you never thought you would see naked, check out Eastern Promises.
That's how I'm starting this
That's a
spoiler section, by the way.
that's a penis.
Yeah. And you know what? Let's go ahead and start with your topic since we're already there.
Nude combat.
Yeah.
Okay, we're jumping ahead. Should we do like a rundown?
Nah.
Not a rundown of the movie?
Nah.
Okay, so they walk in, he gets tattoos, and he walks in, and the second okay, they're setting him up to be bait. That's why they gave him the tattoos. I'm like, man, this is going to be really awkward when he's fighting in a towel and just stays on the entire time. Nope. Butt-ass naked the entire fight. And at first, it's like,
Chicken
okay,
balls,
cool. He's kind of
everything.
using like body movement to block his dick. So we're not going to see it. They're like, nope, there's his dick and balls just hanging out.
Well, they did make a point to show right on it, though, which I
But they also didn't make a point to evade it, you know? Like,
Well, they started to evade it. They started to avoid it. It was like slightly covered. I'm like, okay, that's going to be even weirder. It's like in an anime where the steam just barely covers your dick or the titties.
the bubbles just happen to be
Right, they just
there.
have. There's a shine of light that just barely blocks it. Nope. It's like block with the leg. Okay, cool. But then he's on his knees. Like, well, there's the back of his ball sack.
yeah. At some point, I saw the chocolate starfish, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
That's why we got that Russian rating.
Oh my god.
Did you guys pay attention? Like, were you able to pick up what fighting style he was using at all?
Krav Maga.
No, it was Wang Chung.
That doesn't deserve a laugh. but I'll
I've
give
been
it to
waiting
you.
since watching that scene to make that joke. I had to like
Fart.
hold it in.
That was the payoff.
Penis. We are children.
To be fair, though, when you were mentioning how you don't know of a lot of fight scenes that were naked in films, I mean, back in the way back days of Olympics.
That's true.
They did
Greco-Roman,
everything naked.
butt ass naked.
I'm gonna sprint this distance butt ass naked and throw the.
chafing.
I don't understand why. Just from a technical aspect, I get that he's vulnerable, right? And it's supposed to be like, well, you're completely defenseless, you're naked. Dudes look weird naked. Can we agree on that? Even dudes who are in shape and attractive look weird with their little fucking dicks flopping around.
It's not.
Try to do a roundhouse kick with your cock out?
Can't agree with you on that one. I would say to us, yes, probably doesn't look great. But there is
I'd say anyone.
See, that's where I'm gonna have to disagree.
I don't know who you're gonna say.
I feel like there is a subsect of people
Because either
in this world that would be like Viggo Mortensen's penis. Nice.
there's always going to be a fetish group somewhere. I'm just saying from the
I'm
technical
mostly
aspect
talking about
of fighting. You got a little cock. If it's flaccid, just flapping around. If it's hard, just.
So, this is what I'm going to counterpropose, though. the flaccid penis. I'm sure there are people who find a flaccid penis still hot. But if we're going from a homosexual point of view, which neither one of us are really, I guess,
That was also part of
prepared
this
to
movie.
go into, but I know just from the multitude of people that I have worked with, especially one manager in specific who I don't think I can name names in case he watches this and then he doesn't want to be put on blast, but he's definitely commented on people's butts when we were watching stuff in the break room before. That also might be against our SOP, I don't know. Could be an HR call.
Yeah, I'm pretty
But-
sure that's harassment.
Well, it wasn't my butt, it was a TV butt.
If you're even talking about a butt, doesn't matter what butt you're talking about.
That's true. We did a whole learning about it. Anyways, I would argue that even if they don't find a flaccid penis attractive, there is the chance that they're like, it's a good butt. It's a good butt.
I'm not talking about attractiveness. I'm just saying from the aspect of a fight.
The practical aspect.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no practical.
Well, you
aspect.
you
it's
just
like-
said they're not attractive.
It's like
problem.
no. You're
Think
right.
of a-
You're right.
think
I put a person being there from a technical aspect of a fight. It's just flopping around. I don't get.
I mean,
why?
Think of indigenous people. Basically, they live their whole life that way, and they run around in the woods, in the forest, in the jungle, doing all sorts of crazy stuff.
Tom, how many indigenous people do you think saw this movie?
I mean, it doesn't matter. But
Well,
the
they're
fact of
running around the
matter is
jungle.
it
They're
just-
like,
it just
well, do you want to
happens.
see that? I don't know what
I
fucking
think the
accent
point
that is.
Tom's making here is that it's more about your culture.
So
than
you're
others.
saying that the Brits love the flaccid penis.
I'm saying that the Brits are way less sexually repressed
That's
than America.
true.
Agree.
Because
Agree.
when I watched Mr. Bean, weird segue. There's a
Classic
There's a
comedy.
particular scene where they just straight up have this dude's ass hanging out as he's walking out of the pool section. Whereas, I guess I could be wrong. I'm not from London. I'm not from the EU, and it's not like, oh my god, it's an ass. It's just he's a naked man.
Right.
Whatever.
I'm not saying from a
I know,
sexual
I know.
aspect. I'm saying from a fight choreograph, he's butt ass naked and he's throwing roundhouse kicks.
Right, but it's David Cronenberg. That's the other thing. So he likes
I also
to be
didn't know
weird.
that when we started this.
So he likes to be kind of weird and push limits and stuff.
That does explain a lot after
Also,
hearing that.
I mean, it's either fight or flight at that point too.
True.
It's like I'm either gonna have a towel that might restrict my kicks,
Yep.
or I'm just gonna.
I was kind of
Go.
expecting him to use that, and then they shoot from like top up,
But I think since
and
he
then they
put it on
kind
his
of
back-
play with it, like, oh, you're not gonna see it. You're kind of gonna see it, but you're not.
Like DOA, when Christie's fighting in the towel, but then putting on the lingerie, but you never
Yes.
see anything.
Yes. Like that.
But,
Which
That's
is
what I was
We
expecting.
did that episode, callback.
I was expecting
But
that.
I think he already nailed it on the head. It's just because vulnerability. You are never more vulnerable than you are naked. When is at what point in your everyday life would you least want someone to come barging in? It's when you're stepping out of the shower. You're wet, you're naked, things are slippery, and
I'm
everything's
pooping.
out.
I would
Or
think when
pooping.
I'm dead asleep. I mean,
I think I'd rather be asleep.
yeah.
Because then I think, I throw someone in a hard guard, right? Triangle choke, boom, dead.
Okay,
Speaking of the Undertaker,
Well, Hell's
There's your-
Gate. That's
there's-
Gogo Plata.
there's
Thank
your
you
one
very
per
much.
list.
They do mention the Undertaker in this.
They do
Not
call him
the
the
Undertaker, but
Undertaker,
you know,
yeah.
an
And
Undertaker.
Undertaker.
Do we have anything else to add about naked choreography fights?
It was also just weird. I wasn't expecting him to do a nude scene. Like, at that point in his career, you really don't have to. I guess if he does just love acting and he feels that this is what the character, this is a good spot.
I do find more actors are willing to go full frontal than actresses, especially when they want to be thought of as like a serious actor or a like they'll do anything for the role kind of actor.
Okay.
Versus actresses, I think they kind of cut it off at waist level. Like they may show some of their boobs,
Well, they don't.
but it's very rare that you'll see like full vag from like an A-list style actress. The only one I could think off the top of my head right now is the girl that plays Harley Quinn. Fuck, what's her name?
Oh, Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of.
I can't think of her name.
I know, right? And it's like
Margot Robbie.
That's it, yeah. But like outside that, you generally only see like the upper half for females, or you'll see a booty here and there. But
I always thought that was like a ratings thing. Like they just had something against vaginas, or the shooting up. But yeah, now you say that, yeah, she is full nude in Wolf of Wall Street.
Haven't seen that film. Heard it was good.
it is,
Ditties.
yeah, lots. And also, Game of Thrones being a British show, you see a decent amount of cock in Game of Thrones too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think they had that in Spartacus too.
Yep,
There
I
was
do
a part
believe.
on there where don't they even like have them on the statue to bust to the head of the guy, and then right underneath there they have the
Oh, I have no
penis
idea.
of the person. Because I remember being like, why? And then they're like, it's because it's what they are.
It is kind of weird though. Like, no matter how many times you've seen a naked female, it never like, it's never weird. You know what I'm saying? Like you're never like, oh, weird titties. It's like, oh, nice titties. But no matter what movie it is, it's like, oh, weird dick. Oh God. Like
That's
you just
penis.
never see the dick. You just never see that coming. You know what I'm saying? Like it's there. Clockwork Orange is like, oh shit, dick.
That's
This, oh
penis.
shit, dick. Game of Thrones, oh shit, dick. What the fuck?
Yeah.
It's just so rare that you just don't. You'd never.
Would
I don't
you-
think I'll ever be used to it. No
It's
matter.
because we never see it.
That's true.
It's only in weird movies like this.
That's true.
It's never going to be in a blockbuster.
Bronson is another one where it's like, oh fuck, dick. And Tom Hardy,
Bronson.
dick. He plays. It's a British movie, and he plays a British gangster, and you see British gangster Tom Hardy, dick.
I'm
and
starting
it's
to
like,
notice
it's
a
always
theme
flaccid
here.
too. Yeah.
Starting to
It's
notice a
all
real
British.
theme here, yeah.
Yeah. American movies don't put dick. No dick.
Yeah, no dick.
I think it's
doesn't fill
Americans
the
latent
seats.
homophobia.
Hashtag free the dick.
Dicks out for Jesus.
Harambe.
Yeah. I think it
Dead
is
meme.
just America.
We have something against it. Yeah.
Well, it's got to be like they know that America still has huge homophobia issues, and they're like, if we put a dick in it, no one's gonna go see it in theaters.
That'll be the only thing they'll talk about.
Right?
Kind of like
Did
what's
you
happening
see
right now.
his dick?
That's true. That's true.
I just wasn't
There
prepared
was
for it.
a 5-minute scene of dick, and that's all we've talked about so far.
I was not prepared, especially for him being such a big name. You even said it. Well, now I can't watch Lord of the Rings anymore.
I know. Well, I mean, clearly I'm a liar, but it will never be the same. I'll just be like, oh, now I've seen his dick.
Yeah.
So speaking
Although-
to credibility,
That does mean that now me and Erwin have something in common.
You both want his dick.
No, we've both seen his dick. God, if I want anyone's dick, it'd be Legolas. Duh. See that man, Pretty Man? Or Sauron.
oh boy.
Yeah, I bet he's got all
Wait.
sorts of magic powers. So, what was your topic?
I was going to say, credibility of the actor of going all out. I will
Yeah.
talk about method acting.
For sure.
So, for those that don't know, method acting is a technique of acting in which the actor aspires to complete emotional identification with the part. I threw down some examples of actors who went hard in the paint with method acting. Bring in your own actress word if you so feel like it. Adrian Brody in The Pianist dropped 30 pounds in order to portray.
Penis?
Pianist?
Oh, pianist. Okay.
There you go. Dropped 30 pounds just to kind of play the part, and then also learned how to play the piano. And then he wanted to feel as alone as the guy he portrayed. Gave up his apartment, sold his car, disconnected his phones, and left.
Okay.
And needless to say, his girlfriend dumped him because, it's just kind of what happens. But whatever.
What a loser.
Another one in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, Jack Nicholson. He lived at a psychiatric ward where the movie was taking place and interacted with real patients and underwent group therapy sessions, all which were also recorded without them knowing. Get that genuineness in there. Christian Bale in The Machinist dropped 60 pounds to play a severe insomniac.
Which is gross as fuck considering what he did immediately after that.
Yep, and then 6 weeks gained it all back for his role of Batman Begins. Like,
I have slight issue with the whole weight loss thing. I'm not sure how much that really plays into method acting.
Well,
Unless
I mean,
you're playing a super skinny, like,
That's what he's.
I'm sick
yeah,
for this reason.
that's
is
the
that
point.
what the mechanic
He's
is about? Okay.
yeah, he's an insomniac who's basically losing his mind in a way.
Because insomniacs.
That makes
tend
more
to-
sense.
Yeah. It's not just.
But we
for
just
the-
say
yeah.
like, yeah, I got jacked to get into character.
No, like, he looks like
it's more
he's
body transformation.
sickly ill and on the verge of becoming a skeleton.
Okay.
And then there's also many more like Daniel Day-Lewis, Heath
He's
Ledger,
probably,
Robert De Niro.
Yeah, Daniel Day-Lewis is the go-to that I
done
think
a lot.
of. He refused to answer to anything other than Mr. President on the set of Lincoln, and in My Left Foot, where he plays someone who has some sort of disability in a wheelchair, he
painted with
refused
this
to
whole
get
thing.
out of the wheelchair to the point where people had to carry him up and down stairs.
He also injured his ribs doing it.
But I think we're forgetting the greatest method actor of our time, Jared Leto as the Joker, giving anal beads and dead rats.
Heath Ledger did get pretty method.
Yes,
know?
he did. The
Wait,
real
who
one.
are you talking about?
Jared Leto.
So with that
No,
being said,
Martin Sheen in oh god, what was that
Apocalypse
war movie?
Now?
Yeah,
Mm.
where he
Oh,
his scene where he gets drunk and dancing around like
Yeah,
he just locked himself in the room.
and has a legit heart attack.
Halle
Yeah.
Berry did one for a film too, where she
Monsters
was
Ball?
in a recovery clinic with a bunch of drug addicts before, and then she also didn't shower for several weeks just to play the part. And I was like, well, okay.
Now, and then this is like the opposite of that would be classical acting, where it's everything you do is taken directly from the script, and you try and surmise your character from that. Which I'm not sure which route is the better route, honestly.
So in my theater days,
Oh, school us.
my director would always say that there's two types of actors. There are those that are mechanical, that read the script and try to just do the best they can with it. Then there are those that get in the head of the character. What is the character thinking? How do I do this? I'm a bird. I'm going to flap my arms. That's what a bird would do. And he would always tell us, you can think that you're a bird all you want and flap your arms. You're never going to fly. The only way to fly is with mechanical precision and doing this and that, right? Like, you can do great things thinking and doing it, but you also need the mechanical,
Oh, I see what he's saying. Okay.
kind of a mix. Like,
Yeah.
I was always a mechanical actor. Like, I would read the script and do my best. I wouldn't think, what's my character thinking right now? It's like, no, I go there and say the line because they have to come here and say their line.
And it does make more sense to mix the two together anyways, because, I mean, you're getting the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like a lot of like quirks and like tics and characterizations can come from the method acting. Like, oh man, my guy has like some sort of foot problem. Maybe he's got a limp to it, but you're dead on
But
about
if
not
you
reading and
go-
delivering properly because you're like, well, I don't think my character would say that.
Yeah. If you go then the whole 6-8 months of shooting limping, what's wrong? Oh no, I'm just pretending to be in character.
See, that's where it gets weird to me, like when they refuse to break character. Jim Carrey did it for Man on the Moon, which is another awesome movie where he plays Andy Kaufman. And there's a whole documentary on it on Netflix now called Jim and Andy or something like that. Apparently he was always Andy Kaufman, even off set, to the point like where he was irritating the fuck out of people, and he would show up as Tony Clifton, who was one of his like Andy's characters, where he like puts on a fat suit and mustache and he's like really like belligerent to people, and he showed up to days he wasn't shooting as Tony Clifton and was like irritating the fuck out of people.
So he came up in character.
Yes, like that's how far he went. Part of me
psychopath.
appreciates that, but that's exactly the other part of me thinks they're crazy.
That's kind of why I
Time
have
and a place.
appreciation for Daniel Day-Lewis for his characters that he play. Like, I guess the one for the Lincoln, he was texting. I don't know if it was his girlfriend or wife or whatever at the time, but he was texting in the language, and then she had to respond appropriately
Right.
with the same language. Like, to bring that outside of work, I feel is a bit far.
But it's hard to argue when you're Daniel Day-Lewis, who's got more Oscars than anyone ever, and he's one of the few people that like it's not Jared Leto douchey, still douchey,
yeah.
but in his case it's worth it, if that makes sense. Like Bill the Butcher, Daniel Plainview, all of those characters he's played are like vastly different from the other ones. But then you've got people who are like, yeah, I'm a method actor, but not a good one.
So
It's a fine line.
Yeah.
And a lot of people try to think they're trying to do it, but they're not doing it right.
Yep. So how is Viggo Mortensen a character actor?
he's a method
Not
actor.
a character, sorry, method actor.
Basically, he basically traveled alone to Moscow, St. Petersburg, and the Ural Mountain region of Siberia, where he spent 5 days just driving around with a translator. He also immersed himself in with some, I don't know, let's say gangster types, but basically
He met the machine.
He
He
he just really immersed himself into it. He had his trailer was filled, like he had TVs and stuff just playing just Russian stuff so that he could really immerse himself in the language, and my guess would probably help to form an accent or even speak Russian. He learned Russian. A lot of his stoicness in the way he acted, he actually gathered from Vladimir Putin, weird enough, where he has that stoic face, that canary in the cat's mouth look, where he's just as is, which,
and he does do a lot of like a lot of his reactions are super subtle, but you know exactly what he's reacting like.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like there's that part where he tells him he's getting his stars, and Kirill is like, he's pretending like he knew the whole time. He's like, yeah, it was my idea. It's whatever. And then he does just a little, a very small little laugh to himself because he knows he's full of shit.
Right.
I wish I would have watched his face more, because when he's sitting there and they're doing the interview, when he's sitting on the chair, like he has very great facial expressions. Like, damn it, I like that. I didn't know he was that good.
Oh, yeah.
So it sounds like he did the proper balance of method without going too far. Like he absorbed through osmosis, but didn't like, this is who I am now.
I'm assuming he didn't go outside and say, yes, I would like to have 6-pack of Coke.
No.
He did.
You American dog.
He did.
But yeah,
I am from Russia.
In that little special feature we were watching, he didn't go that far, but he did walk out still wearing the tats.
One day after he went to a pub without washing everything off, and he was still in costume, and some of the patrons were frightened of him because they thought he was an actual Vorid, whatever.
Bratva.
Baba Yaga.
Brotherhood.
It's like, that's terrifying.
Right, that's one day going out in costume.
Right,
That's
just
not.
right
and it wasn't
I'm
on purpose.
staying.
It was right
there.
after shooting.
Yeah.
He also went to the dentist dressed up as Aragorn. You call him Aragorn. Aragon.
No, you got it. Aragorn.
Is it Gorn?
Aragon is the dragon. with
Okay,
the younger
that's
kid.
where
No,
I'm
you got
fucking it up.
Yeah, you got
Aragorn.
Yeah, call him Strider.
Strider. There we go. Yeah, like he chipped his tooth, and then he went to the dentist in full costume. He wasn't in character.
Right.
He was just sitting there with fucking Sword of the Kings and like,
And
please fix my face.
I'm sure he wasn't in character like at that bar either, but a lot of his character is the way he looks, because he looks fucking scary. Especially like
He's got that butt chin
that
that
thing
just
will
really
give me
fits
nightmares.
too.
Like, he's
All you think we're
very
just doing
menacing.
this.
Yeah.
So with basically all that stuff, I was saying, do you guys think that this type of acting is key for really playing a convincing role?
Here's my biggest issue. He may have done all this work and he is amazing. Does not save the movie for me. The movie has fundamental problems. That doesn't matter how great your actors are. You can think you're a bird. You're not flying.
But out of all the characters, would you say well, maybe not. I couldn't say that necessarily.
You have to
I wouldn't want to spoil my MVP.
Like, you have to be S-class for your method acting to save a movie. Like,
Right.
Like, there will be blood. If he is not S-class in that, I don't think that movie's as, like, engrossing to watch, you know? Versus, like, this was an okay movie, but I'm not like, wow, he was fucking good in this. I'm like, he did a good job. He's all right.
He was no Daniel Day-Lewis, and there will be blood.
Right.
Never seen it.
It's pretty good. Especially
I keep hearing about it.
Like, just watch him actor. Like, the first, we've already talked about it on this podcast.
Second part I have here. If you were an actor, do you think you'd be able to learn this way, or would you try like this? Like, would you be a type of method actor?
I think
how
I
would you go about?
I very briefly tried to learn how to do an East London accent for a part. I never fucking bothered actually finishing it, but kind of that Jason Statham London, you talk like this, except I fuck it up, right? Like, I would probably try more of that rather than learning a different language, or probably depends on the role.
And would we consider learning an accent method, or is that mechanical? Because your character calls for it.
True.
That's confusing too.
I think it really depends on how much you ingrain it into your life.
True. Like, if you do it,
But then in my case, every spare moment, I would be talking like that just to get it down.
But were you doing
But I
it to
wouldn't
other
go
people?
out. Yeah, I wouldn't go out to other people.
I think that might be where
I wouldn't
think
be a
it's the
dick
amount
about
of,
it.
It's the amount of commitment is really where it's drawn, right?
If it stays at work or if it goes home with you.
Yeah.
Keep work at work.
Yeah.
That's what I live by.
I would probably be more. I was about to say I'd be probably more method than mechanical, just based on like D&D stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, like when we used to make little like movies, I would never think like,
That's one
what's
thing.
my character thinking? I was just like looking at the line, but we didn't have scripts. Now that I think about it,
we
we just
just-
said whatever, so we
winged
might
it.
have been, yeah.
I always thought about that afterwards too. I'm like, well, what if I started to play a character? How would this character kind of respond? And then in turn, like it wouldn't come out proper. Like you'd be like, hey, it should be this way. Like my holy cow.
Holy cow. Well, like so when I was playing Varg, like I was just thinking
yeah.
however I would think Varg would think. That's
Mhm.
why I kept irritating the fuck out of the mayor about him and his son. Same
That was
with
such a painful episode, not episode, but yeah, campaign. But yeah, no, so
Why
that's
don't
pretty
you
much
talk
my
to your
topics
child?
over.
Can
I bitch about the tattoos?
Yeah, go for it.
Kind
Go
of
ahead.
ties in
Go
with
right
method
ahead.
Hop on in there.
They put so much effort into learning the tattoos and the language of the tattoos and how they'll be worn, how they're earned. They tell a life story. They never explain that in the movie. That never comes up.
Because you have to be a Russian mobster, and then you'd be like, hey, I noticed that.
But they're supposed to. They put all this work into it.
Mhm.
They never explain it. It's like writing an entirely fake language.
They tip a nod to
but
it.
then never.
In that special
Talk
feature,
about
they addressed that. They,
Right. That's not in the movie though.
No, that's what I'm saying. They addressed like that for the purpose of the movie. They did not necessarily want that to be a main focus, but it was one of those things where if people in that world watched it, they didn't want to take them out by being like, "Oh, those tattoos are obviously fake."
So
It's-
we're worried about Russian mobsters not like in the movie.
It's not super integral other than the stars. It's not super integral to the plot point of the movie, but it's one of those gun things. Like if something's clearly wrong with the gun, it can take you out. It's not necessarily that they are aiming at that demographic, but they want to maintain a certain amount of realism just for the plot, so that if someone watches it and knows about it, it doesn't fuck with them.
All you need then is at least one scene where Naomi Watts is like, "Oh, what are these? These are Bratva stars, or what?"
And they
is-
do talk
what-
about the
what-
stars a
Why do you
lot.
have this tattoo? Tells a life story. What's this one say? I was in prison. I was a thief. My mother was a whore. Like, and then he explains it to her, and then to us, the audience, and then we start to understand that's why everyone has tattoos.
But is that not what they're doing when he is in front of the mob bosses in his underwear? Because they're saying all these things about his family and his past.
Like, I noticed you were in prison in Siberia.
Yeah,
Oh.
I guess that does serve the same purpose. I was just expecting.
They
Okay,
just
I
don't
kept
go as
expecting-
into it.
They don't clear cut it
Um,
for you.
Yeah.
I was expecting whatever her name was, and the Naomi Watts
Yeah.
character.
Yeah.
I was expecting her to kind of get more involved in that story. Like those stories we're going to meet, and then something else happens. Like, okay. So the second that he gives the whore that he fucks, which first off, you're gonna fuck this whore, and I'm gonna watch to prove you're not gay. Wait, what?
Cringy.
It's
What?
because he's gay.
Right. That's why. I get that. That comes back up every now
It
and
was
then.
the first thing I thought too. I was like, why you want to watch someone else fuck? You gay? And then
I
it
kinda
turns
thought he
out,
was-
yeah,
Yeah, he is.
he is.
But then he gives her money and a card.
Prayer card.
I'm like, okay, something's gonna happen there. Is he just a good guy? And then later she gets rescued by the police. I'm like, okay, is he involved with the police? Is he the one talking to the police? And then the detective shows up. Okay, he's an informant. Okay, he's a plant.
He's a double agent.
I was kind of
He's undercover.
If she would have gone to the police first, and then they're like, I'm sorry, we can't help you, and then we stick a little bit with the detective, and then she goes to the mafia, and that's where they start to intertwine, that would make more sense, but they kind of don't.
Well, see, I think they don't want to play that card too soon, because like, fuck me, I didn't see it coming.
Yeah, no.
Like,
Which is
I
good,
thought it
'cause
was
you
weird.
usually see that stuff coming.
I thought it was
early.
weird how nice he was being to people. Like, I was like,
Kinda like
sending the
maybe
guy
he's
away.
just a good guy.
Like it seems
He's a
it's-
moral thief.
and that was like weird to me the whole time. I was like, Russian mobsters, not nice people. Like that's kind of their whole deal, is that they're super hardcore, and so I thought that was weird and kind of out of place. But I never thought that it was because he was undercover. And like when they mentioned her getting taken away, I was like, I mean, cops bust prostitution places all the time. Like it didn't click on my radar, and I think that's because I found him so scary that I was like, no, he's been in this for a minute,
Right.
Which he has, but not actually there.
He's just a driver.
Yeah. Speaking of bad accents.
I didn't think it was terrible.
It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great.
I got really annoyed when they kept switching. I get that's kind of the bit, right? Talking English and then switch to Russian. Like, okay, one or the other. And if you're going to give me subtitles on one, give me subtitles on everything.
It kind of happens just when you're in an area where the primary language is English. You do kind of flip back and forth, which I noticed when I was in Germany. Like, granted, yeah, it's all German there, but like, you'd get that little connect where they would come back, and then you just kind of jump back and forth and almost intermingle it. And sometimes I've noticed it becomes a part where it's just you don't notice you're doing it.
I think it's like, yeah, realistically that makes sense. But from a technical aspect, I'm watching and then switch to Russian and then subtitles and then back to watching.
There was one portion where they had subtitles that weren't really necessarily needed. When he was downstairs drinking the brandy and he said something completely in English and they still gave him subtitles.
He started in English.
Well, I think certain words were in English and then it switched over, right?
And
that became a bit of an issue with the Godfather character type, his Kirill's father, because there were times where he'd be speaking English to Russian to English, and you'd be reading the subtitles, but his accent is super thick to the point where like it was hard to
subtitles
like,
anyway.
You're not ready for it, like to switch back, so you're zoning out what he's saying and reading, and then it's like, oh, that was English. Fuck.
Okay. So anime, sub or dub?
Sub.
Like, I kind of like the dubs
People
more.
will rake me over the coals for saying that, and I know who.
Dub is supposed to be the one for filthy casuals.
Dub?
Yeah, dub
I'm
is
sorry.
American.
Oh,
people
no.
speaking. Yeah.
I just confused those. Sub.
Yeah, sub is where it's in the proper
Sub,
language.
I feel,
prefer
is better
sub, but I like
acting.
dub
Dub
just
is
because
easier
it's
to
like-
understand.
Yeah.
Right? But the problem is that, like, subtitle reading, you gotta get used to it. You gotta get back into the flow of it. So it's hard to switch from not actively reading or actively listening to then glance down, get it, look back up, because you want to see the scene and what's going on.
If I'm watching it for the first time, I prefer dubbed because I get to understand what's happening. Then if I watch it again, I'll watch it subbed. But I know that a lot of people say they like to watch it subbed because they have not necessarily inflection, but a more feeling in how they say stuff. It's different.
Yeah,
Which,
And it
because
does-
voice actors don't know what they're voicing.
It
They
does
just read
depend
lines.
on the actual what the series is too, because like some of them, One Punch Man cannot watch dubbed because just his voice is awful in the American version. It's great in the Japanese version, but like Dragon Ball Z, don't need to watch that subbed. Like that works just fine in English.
I wonder. I always have the thing that whatever I see first, I prefer more. So English DBZ, 'cause that's what I saw first.
Although I do love Frieza's Japanese voice; is fucking
I
amazing.
think I've heard that
Give
one.
me that. Give me that. Helsing,
I haven't seen
much
that.
better.
I want
in,
to, but
in English because they're actually in fucking London,
Which-
so it
yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
No, I was just saying that from a technical aspect, it just kind of it's jarring to switch back and forth, and then go back to a purely English language, and then back to Russian, and then subtitles, and then just.
So a movie that did it better, John Wick. The first John Wick is
No
almost
spoilers.
completely.
I'm gonna watch it.
I'm not gonna spoil it for you, but it's almost completely revolved around a Russian mob family in the first one.
With Theon, right?
Correct.
Yes.
And so there are scenes where they'll be speaking a little bit of Russian, a little bit of English, but they use dynamic subtitles. So instead of just being on the bottom, it'll be like next to him what he's saying, and it like the way that they come in makes it easy for your brain to snap to realize when he's saying what. Because the issue with most subtitles is they'll show you the whole sentence as soon as they start saying the sentence, versus this one, it's like you can kind of see now it's starting, now it's done.
That's also my big problem with subtitles. Is sometimes you'll know something's going to happen before it actually happens.
Yep.
Which is real annoying.
Like in fucking Daredevil. No.
I don't remember the part.
No.
Kevin Smith was about to turn around, and it's like Kevin Smith. I'm like, motherfucker.
Huh? Oh, you watched it with subtitles
Yeah,
on. Okay,
yeah.
we didn't watch it with subtitles on.
Yeah, I also watched the wrong movie. So.
That's true. But so now so Vigo does an okay job, right?
Yeah.
Um,
I'd say more than okay. He's pretty good.
He had several nominations but didn't win any.
Kirill, God damn it,
Kirill.
Kirill, he's French. He does a pretty decent job, but his seems almost worse than Vigo to me somehow, and I'm not sure. I can't put my finger on it, but there is the one that I really want to talk about is Jennifer Lawrence. So
From what?
Red Sparrow.
Red Sparrow.
I haven't seen it. Seen the nude scene though.
Yeah. She let's just say not great. I would say I don't want to toot our horns, but we're at that Jennifer Lawrence level of Russian accents.
Oh boy.
And it started making me think, because hers is very much that cliche, like basically what we're doing, the very like cliche over the top like Russian accent.
Vaguely Eastern European.
Yeah.
Like when the British are like, here's how Americans do British accents, and it's just
Right.
way
yeah,
over the
and
top.
it's like fucking Mary Poppins, oh governor, and all that kind of stuff. But it was making me think that it is weird that you only really know the one Russian type. You only know like the one Scottish type.
Right.
You only know like the one Irish type. You know multiple British type, and you know obviously we know multiple American because it's like we live with these people, unfortunately. But it's weird that like if someone was actually Russian speaking English, I wouldn't be able to tell them apart from someone doing a bad one sometimes, honestly. Like, I would not feel confident being like, oh, they're just doing a cliche Russian accent, because I've never heard anything other than that, which I thought was strange.
It always kind of, it's a little bit crazy to me, too, to think that, like, with the whole British stuff, like, there's the Cockney versus, like, they all kind of sound the same, but there's also different inflections in how they speak, and that just kind of blows my mind.
It's kind of like how, oh, you're from Iowa, you're Midwest hick. Like, well, no, hick has more of a drawl to it. You know, this is more Texas.
And the only, like, a southern accent only depends on how much farther north you are than that person.
Yeah.
Like, Minnesota, they would probably think we have a southern accent versus probably Missouri. We think they have a southern accent, who probably thinks Oklahoma and Texas is a southern accent. Like, it's all relative to where you are, which is weird. We all want to go around and do y'all's favorite accents, y'all.
I really kind of hate it when I learn that an actor is British or not.
And when they play
not
their American accent.
Hugh Laurie.
Yeah, because like Viggo Mortensen never knew that he had more of an accent, even though he was born in New York.
I felt the same about Rick from The Walking Dead.
Didn't know that one.
Hugh Laurie from House was the first one that fucking blew my mind. I was like, why is he
Laurie.
talking like that?
Cumberbatch, Bale,
And-
Tom Holland.
And see, the big thing
kid from Bloodfest, didn't know he was fucking Brit.
the big thing we're figuring out here is that Brits are much better at doing American accents than vice versa. The only American I can think of that, two Americans I can think of that get away with British accent is Johnny Depp and Robert Downey Jr. That's it. That's it. Like, I can't think of anyone else. And Johnny Depp is giving him a little bit of leeway.
Keanu Reeves is really good at it.
I will not be out here with any wolves. Wolves. There's wolves in the woods.
I can imagine probably Nicolas Cage.
To be fair,
probably
though,
some good ones
To
too.
be fair, though, I also noticed this. All those Brits that do great American accents do something with their face. Like Christian Bale does like a weird lip thing.
Yeah.
Same with like Tom Holland, Cumberbatch. They all do something with their face to kind of change.
Well, that's a big thing with like dialect too. Like, it's not about just like learning like the sounds they're making, but it's forming your mouth to make those sounds properly.
Like that video we watched about spies, they had the implants to put in the roof of your mouth, which can change your voice and the way you speak incredibly. And it's
well,
like, what?
one of the most tying this all together. Mob families, method acting, and accents. One of the most famous ones is Don Corleone in The Godfather. And he got that. He just stuffed cotton balls in his mouth, and it gave him that voice. And also gave him the jowls, which helped his kind of facial structure be a bit more menacing somehow. But also
Another one I haven't seen.
What was it we watched where they were talking about in order to get the guy's voice, he basically stuffed a cigar in his mouth?
That I don't remember.
In Mr. Ed, they shoved a carrot up his ass.
Okay.
You ever heard that one?
Nope.
Get the horse to talk, they shoved a carrot up his ass. Or peanut butter in his mouth. We don't know which.
Oh,
It's
God.
one or the other.
Or both.
Maybe.
I also I wanted to go back to that part where you're talking about Russian mobsters getting taken out of the movie from inaccurate tattoos. I did read on Reddit because I was looking for just some extra facts. This person was like, absolutely love the movie, just don't watch it with a Russian, because to them it's like watching a movie about America that takes place in a steakhouse and everyone's washing their F-150s the whole time. It's like,
That's amazing.
Oh boy.
But
Yeah.
on the topic of accents and how I can't tell either way, I don't know who in this movie actually was Russian. Like, I don't know if the Godfather was Russian. I don't know if Uncle Stepan, who we definitely need to talk about, was Russian. Well, I guess in the movie he's Ukrainian, right?
Same thing.
Well, that's true.
I would assume with his last name, definitely, but I could be very wrong.
And then it was weird to, like, that whole dynamic with that family was kind of strange, right? Like, she
Yeah.
lives with her. I get that she's going through a breakup.
She didn't seem all that concerned when Stefan went missing. It's like, I haven't seen him in a while.
Or
But
thinking
he
about
doesn't
calling the
actually
cops,
live
whatever.
there. He has his own place.
But he's always there.
But he's
Yeah.
at his sister's house.
Okay, given we know what kind of character
Also,
Uncle Steven is, Stefan.
A racist.
He has to be her brother-in-law, right? Because her mom is very much British.
Right.
So it's gotta be
he's
her dad's brother.
Yeah.
Where's her dad? Because if
Didn't
Stepan is... He keeps saying he was with the KGB, which
Auxiliary.
he very well may be telling the truth with the way... Because Vigo's character is whatever the new formation of the KGB is, which... Upon recollection, now that you know, is explaining why when the Godfather character says something about KGB pigs, he corrects him and says they're no longer KGB. They're this other that would
Same
layers.
thing, different name.
Right. It was just one of those other ones where afterwards I was like, that's why he fucking knew that. Oh my god. I lost my train of thought, blowing my mind again here. Hold on. Right. So I think he may have actually been KGB or auxiliary KGB. And I think the first time he read that diary, he knew what he was reading in there and the issues that it can come about that. Like, he understood that it was having to do with a mob family, and that's why he was refusing to translate that book, the diary, for Naomi Watts. And then, like, mom pushes him to it, and he's still, like, trying to be like, we cannot deal with these people, because he comes from a place where he knows what those people do.
Right.
I was waiting for him to pull out that card of like, you don't mess with the family, right? Like, just get rid of this, dump it, leave. No. But then he goes along with it and even spits in his face.
That's where I was like, you should know better.
It's like, do you know or do you not know?
Yeah.
Because you say you know, but then you immediately back down like, I was KGB. Okay, I was backup KGB, but I was still KGB.
But then they have that small little talk where he, like, as soon as Vigo sits down next to him, he tries to be like, I was with KGB. He says it in Russian, but he says, I was with
We know
KGB.
how to deal with punks like you.
Right, and then he says something back that immediately shuts him down too. So I'm wondering if that was, I can't remember what he said, if he threatened him or if he said, or if he was like, yeah, right, what'd you do or whatever. But I almost wonder if there was a small little, like, almost a code phrase to that to let him know that he
Hail
is
Hydra type of deal.
yeah, but for the good guys. So, because now I'm wondering if this also has a meaning other than, like, because to me that definitely insinuates a threatening deal.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know.
I actually looked into that and I couldn't necessarily tell. Like,
Either
they said
that
it was
or-
either threatening or something along the lines of being drinking or something. I don't
Either
know.
that or the old man is, like, to the point where he's so mad about him not giving the address that he's just to the point where he's like, fuck this, I'm spitting on this guy.
The other thing too is, I mean, like, every culture has a different type of middle finger. You got this
That's
one,
true.
you know, and so I was like, maybe that's what that is. I was like, I don't know. So, but yeah. Topics covered.
Yeah.
That's why your baby died.
Oh yeah, we didn't get done with Stepan, I don't think.
Oh boy.
Just out of nowhere.
How is Stepan a dickhead with a heart of gold? Like, he's in one part super racist, like disgusting.
He ruined Christmas dinner.
Disgustingly racist. But then at the same
Moral,
time,
but
he's
stuck
like,
in his old ways.
yeah, it's weird. Yeah, like, I've met people like that are just like, they seem like the nicest people, and then you just get them on a tangent about race, and they're
My
like,
great grandpa,
okay.
rest his soul, was a little bit racist here and there. It'd show up and then be like, okay.
Can't say that. That's awful.
And I was like, oh, all right. But yeah.
I can't know. I was gonna share a story my grandma said one time, but no.
What does she refer to a broken beer bottle as?
What?
Yikes.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So
Is that
moving
worse?
on.
the
Okay.
dead body effects in this movie are fucking awesome.
Yeah, that makes sense now. That
Yeah.
it's Cronenberg.
When he snipped the fingers, I was like, ugh, that.
Okay, so
looks
the first.
good.
So first off, the trailer ends that it spoils something right away.
Yeah.
In that you see someone get their throat slit, and then we open on that scene. We already know this guy's gonna die because trailer.
Yeah, I missed that part of the trailer, and even I knew that guy was gonna die.
Yeah, that was
dense.
horribly telegraphed.
He's a bit of adult.
Same with the fight scene coming in the sauna. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
I'm just going to the bathroom. I'll be right back.
That's when it clicked for me. I was like, oh, that's why they
just
started.
going right back.
Because I thought for sure he was gonna like just straight up kill his kid because his
kinda
kid was
thought that
fucking
too.
up too. But as soon as he's like, yeah, I was like, oh, that's why they starred him in. Oh no.
But the fingers.
But back to
The throat slits. Multiple.
Arsenal. That one was kind of cheap because they cut him through the scarf and then he reveals it. Like, why would you do that?
prosthetics.
Just equally
I
effective.
know that,
Yeah,
but
no,
you're
no,
calling
yeah.
Equally
attention to it.
effective.
But I mean, I don't know anything about anatomy. But I mean, would it take a moment or two for it to just start to bleed?
Yes, because there is that very, very famous clip of the goalie in hockey who is trying. He's obviously trying to stop the puck from going in. Someone hits a player on the other team and knocks him over, and his blade cuts his throat. And so he goes down for a second, and then like a second or two later, you see it just all over the ice.
Oh shit!
And so this guy used to be in some branch of the military or something. So he knew that he had to basically shove his fingers in and stop the artery, and like survived somehow, even though he had a slash all the way across his throat and like pools of blood on the ice. It was nuts.
Yikes! He survived though.
He survived.
Damn.
And you can see him like doing this the whole time, like it was fucking bad.
Close the wound. And
Yeah,
punch it.
it's probably the grossest sports thing I've seen, minus people shattering their legs.
Ooh, we're doing shin kicks. It's like,
And watch the muscle ripple all the way up the leg.
For real.
He tore his
For
tendon.
real.
Who was that kid? He was Krill's like cousin or something,
I think it was
I don't
literally.
even know his
Oh
name.
yeah,
or his nephew.
the one who I thought looked like him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got tickets for Chelsea. He's on the spectrum, right?
What was the phrase he used? He's been touched.
Been touched.
He's been touched. He's touched. Touched by an angel.
I think that was the vibe they were trying to get to, because at the beginning when he's trying to get him to, like, he seems very childish for how old he should be. Yeah, that's kind of the vibe I was getting.
It says the body count in this movie is 5. I mean,
Guy
there's
at the beginning.
There's the 2 in the bathhouse, the guy in the beginning, the guy with the Chelsea, and that's the one I can remember.
Don't they imply that they kill the boss?
No, he goes to jail.
Yeah, we never can see that though.
No, he goes to jail.
He says for poetic reasons, take his blood.
Yeah, but then he says he's going away. Like when he's trying to talk Kirill into not throwing the baby in the water, he says, "Your dad is going away, and we can run this together."
Do you think there's a thing between them? Do you think
They're
they
really
got-
close.
You know, that was another thing that I wanted to talk about, because there's this weird dichotomy, especially in like mob movies.
They're very much brotherhood, like.
Right. But
he's
like
clearly a little
they're
more than
super like
brotherhood.
homophobic, but at the same time very like touchy-feely with each other. Like they're always like doing the smack and like pulling you in close and like kissing each other, but then they're like, "Don't be gay, don't do it."
No homo.
Right?
Don't do it. No.
Because even like I'll let's be real, the majority of my like mob movie knowledge stems from The Godfather, which is then like influenced a shit ton of other stuff. But that's another big thing in there is it's the Italian mob is very touchy-feely in those movies. Like Fredo betrays family, spoilers, and Michael is like almost doing like a weird dance with him and like pulls him in real close and he's like, "I know it was you, Fredo, you broke my heart," and then like gives him a big old smooch, and then they take him out in the water and kill him. So I don't know, it's like a weird dichotomy of you got to be macho but sensual at the same time with each other, like because they do, like he gets like eyes real close. And
I was almost anticipating Vigo and that other dude to like have a little smooch there for a second at the end because they're just super close. Like,
but I also don't know if like I think Vigo's character knows that he is gay, and I don't know if he's trying to
play on it.
pry that in as part of his cover to like make him trust him more. That's where I like layers like an onion. I do think I might be able to guess your WTF moment.
I don't know if you can.
Is it Dicks Out for Jesus?
No.
Oh shit, is yours Dicks Out for Jesus?
No.
Holy fuck, I think we're all liars then. Because mine was also not Dicks Out for Jesus.
I have it written down, so.
Let's hit it.
My what the fuck? There's no ending. It just ends.
There is.
It cuts to black,
There is an
and It's like, we're going to arrest your dad. There's no shootout.
Mm-hmm.
There's no arresting scene. There's no fight.
It's all implied, which I think is a problem.
It just cuts. I'm like, the fuck?
So
There's nothing.
So he gets arrested. The baby lives with Naomi Watts now.
Which that should have been happening to begin with.
Yeah, that was
Her whole character
why
thing
didn't
was
she
like,
take her
my
in?
baby's gone. I want a baby.
Yeah.
There's a baby right here.
Like the arc was so obvious, they shouldn't have waited until the end for that one.
Like maybe the mafia is looking for the baby because that's a tie, and she took the baby.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're coming after her.
See, exactly. But it does have an ending, but I agree that it was kind of a weak ending. Like
Wet blanket.
you see the police bring the Godfather character back. Why didn't they just do the opposite and have him come and take him away in front of the family and be like, we are arresting you because your DNA is tied to this?
Is that what happened?
Yeah.
I seriously thought they just showed up and drew his blood and then left. I didn't think they took him.
No, that's what I'm saying. They took his blood and brought him back.
Oh, okay.
And then with that blood sample, they were able to connect him to what they needed to then arrest him. But we don't see the arresting. Vigo
Right.
just tells Kirill about it. Or
We don't
Nikolai.
see, we don't see the power move of Vigo taking over.
Correct.
Or taking over through Krill.
Right.
Which maybe
And being
happens in
like,
the next one.
"Her."
Now that I know that there's supposed to be a sequel, that ending makes a bit more sense. But the thing that bothers me is he's telling Kirill that now we can rule together. But that last scene very much insinuates that he is sitting at the top of that family now, but he's undercover. So what's his purpose?
He even tells them, I'm taking over for the London Syndicate.
Yeah.
Unless he meant Krill's taken over and I have control over him.
Which
is a better place to be, I would say.
yeah, because he shouldn't be undercover and be at the top, because then how much farther can he really go? Yeah. What was your what the fuck moment?
The brother watching the other brother fuck. Not really brothers, but you know.
He calls them
just
brothers in the colloquial way.
Right, and I'm just like, oh no.
They're
Like,
brothers from another mother, don't you know?
you're going to have sex with this girl to prove that you're not gay. Okay.
I like that little slap at the end, too. I'm like, yeah.
Real sell it.
So, Viggo Mortensen didn't seem to have a lot of rhythm, if you know what I'm saying. Like,
He was just doing it for the sake of, getting it over with.
that's kind of the feeling I was getting to. He was just like, that was more uncomfortable than actually seeing his dick to me.
Yeah.
Now, do you think he was really fucking her?
No,
I mean,
that's
you
one
want to
thing I
have
also
that
consider.
real method scene, right?
No,
Jeez,
because that
no, IRL, no.
This is like
it's
Birdman all over
It's
again.
rated R. That's
Yep.
why I know he wasn't fucking her. If he was legitimately fucking her, they have to give it an X rating.
Yeah.
Yep. Even if it doesn't show penetration, if they are not simulating sex, it does have to be an X.
Wearing one of
Good
those
to know.
little like spandexy pants. Just
Yep.
Dangerous
From what I hear, it is damn near impossible to get any erection on a set.
I can imagine.
With the amount of people
All the lights,
around and the
cameras,
lights and like redoing the scene over and over.
Boom in the shot.
I think I might struggle, but apparently it's impossible.
So basically, it's Birdman.
I just said that.
I
Yeah,
missed that.
he-
Sorry.
Yeah, threw that
I
out
figured
there.
you did.
But see, I think he gets one in character because in character he's a psychopath.
Yeah, true.
My what the fuck moment was Nikolai was undercover. I literally said, "What the holy shit!" Didn't see it coming.
I felt that coming the second Maester Lewin stepped on the scene.
Really?
No, he's an undercover agent.
See,
He's a
I wouldn't
plant.
have seen. I guess
'Cause
out of
why else would he show up?
everyone on. Well, see, I thought he was gonna be trying. Like, I thought
You mean when he
somehow
showed up
like
at the hospital?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the police had no idea he was connected.
I just figured he might have been questioning.
That's why I think that
a mob person was in there. Let me go and question.
Okay,
That's why I think that if the
Yeah.
police were involved early and we had other scenes with that guy and him being like, listen, we can't deal with this right now. Then when he shows up and it's revealed he's working for us, that's why we're not going to touch this because we don't want to blow his cover. But once he shows up, like, oh, they're working together.
So you're talking about when he shows up at the hospital, not when he finds the dead body on the
Yeah,
beach. That's
yeah.
okay. That's where I was confused.
Because he's in that scene and then gone
Right.
for the rest of the movie.
Yeah, but at that point, that makes more sense. Like, because that's just before they do the actual reveal, right?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
When he shows up at the hospital.
Yeah, he's walking in, and that's the reveal. Like
Right.
the second that he shows up. Now, if he was investigating, or if she was talking to him, and there was kind of a false trail of maybe they are investigating, and then it's revealed no, they're working together. That's why he's refusing to take the case. Kind of a misdirection.
So
type of
is
thing.
this the cop showing up, and then immediately him and Nicola have the talk on the roof?
Yeah.
Okay, so see, I think that still works just fine. I think it's a double reveal, if that makes sense. Like, it's it clicks for people who are like more attuned into like seeing that, and then if that doesn't click, it's for people like me who are just
He
like
straight up
says it. Yeah, so it gives you the little good job.
It just seems weird
yeah.
to have that detective character for any reason then. Because
that's why I want to watch it again though.
Yeah.
Because to me, I thought it was weird that on the body there was a note that Vigo missed or Nicola missed.
Right.
Because he dries out the thing, but now I realize he dries out the thing and grabs the wallet so he can plant that note on him.
It has people leave the room.
Yep. Yeah.
Makes sense
right?
now. Also had a sub what the fuck moment, and it was just, well, that is a baby.
That was another good one.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a baby.
That's a baby.
Cool.
I do.
Go ahead.
He walks in with flowers, walks out with a baby, and nobody questions that. Nobody says, why the fuck are there a dozen roses where the baby used to be?
Also,
Shouldn't we be watching this baby more closely?
maybe I missed a spot, but I think in the trailer there's a part where she's like, "How did you get in here?" And he's like, "There's always a door that's open." And they say that in the trailer, but did that actually happen?
It wasn't
in the
movie,
film.
no.
Yeah,
So it insinuates that like mobsters have their way.
must have been a little plant.
What was your favorite scene?
Do you want to take a second guess?
Wang Chung?
Yeah. Specifically, that just one shot of him on top of the guy.
Which one? The first one or the second?
Ass. Just straight up ass after he's like, ugh.
He's on top of the second guy. I'm guessing after he crawled over the top.
Yeah,
of him.
yeah. And he finally kills
You just see a bloody back and then a butt crack with some blood going. Broke Lance there for a second when that showed up. I was like, wow.
Was not expecting that. I was not prepared.
I have mine as basically when they're examining his body to do the like reading his tattoos. He's sitting in front of him just in a chair, and they're just telling his story while talking to him. Like, yeah, that's kind of neat. I really enjoy that. That's the moment where they kind of bring in the light, the whole of tattoos about it, and then I've always found it interesting. Like biker gangs will have their tattoos and all that stuff, and I find it interesting that everyone has a meaning that is not directly correlated to what is on there. Like he was explaining in the behind the scenes, the cross is on there. It doesn't mean he has any sort of religious meaning. It's just that he's a good thief. And so I always thought like it's like a code. That was really cool. But
And like visually it looks good too. Like the lighting and everything is like super moody.
Like, it really plays with his facial features too. There's the light coming down, the shadows.
Each individual mob boss had their own little like light too.
And they did a fucking real good job at lighting cigarettes. Like every time someone's smoking, it's like they got the light behind it, so you can see every little wisp off of it. It makes it super fucking dramatic. I think this might technically classify as a neo-noir, but I'm not sure on that. Like there's a lot of like hard shadow scenes.
True. Yeah, there's actually a lot of nighttime scenes, especially when there's darkness and it was raining. There was rain.
And it's a murder mystery kind of. A little bit. My favorite scene was just before the sauna fight. Like when they're sitting there with the old man, and as soon as the old man starts being like super like, yeah, you're gonna die, I was like, not necessarily for how well it was, because it was a little over the top, but that was when it clicked to why he basically patched him in. And I was like, oh, so fuck.
He's an official plant.
So it's like, it got me hyped up knowing that a fight scene was about to go down. Wasn't ready for the dick, not gonna lie. But it did, like, it set the tone there. Almost like we were talking about with the, he's undercover. Like, that was the pre-one to then them coming in and saying, you did good, and he's that guy. This will be the tricky one. Who's the MVP?
Baby. Baby was in character the entire time. Never broke. Was the best actor.
Can we talk about how good Baby's Russian accent was? Stoic. The way the baby cried in Russian was amazing.
Yes. Baba Ganoush.
Who you got?
Viggo Mortensen. Mortensen.
For sure.
Just because his role was very methodical and his representation as a mafia foot soldier was played off real well. And then just to reveal that he was basically undercover, there was no inkling to that whatsoever.
So there were, for sure.
There were hints. This doesn't mean like red herring. At first you think he's just a good guy.
That's
He
what I
gave
was
her a prayer
playing.
card and money.
Yep.
And then later you hear, oh, there's, someone was talking to the police, and that's why we killed him.
My guess is he's like, from my aspect before knowing all that, I figured he was just a vigilante in a sense. Like he's a bad guy,
gangster with a heart. I
anti-hero.
thought they were doing the gangster with a heart of gold trope,
that kind of thing.
and I
yeah.
wasn't really digging it. But as soon as he was cop, I was like, oh, that's so much better.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was on purpose. I think they wanted to, like you said, red herring it away, like make you think, oh, he's the main character of this movie, so he's got to at the end be like, I'm gonna turn on them and I'm gonna help this girl get that baby, which he does, but for a way different reason than I saw coming.
They wanted to subvert our expectations.
But well,
yeah. This is how you do it well.
not like Game of
You
Thrones.
don't just
season 8,
destroy a
episode 4.
character. I'm crazy now!
So mine early on was Stepan.
You don't mix races.
Yeah, because I was like, fuck, this guy's crazy, but also super kind of like the surprisingly funny kind of crazy, like, oh, fuck. Oh, God. But then it's definitely Viggo Mortensen for sure. And so is yours him as the actor or him as the character? Or both?
I would say him as the character. I liked the character a lot. Definitely when I learned about him basically informing his role using Vladimir Putin, just the way I've always...
So your MVP is Nikolai.
I don't want to make it sound like I'm a Russian supporter necessarily, but I've always admired Vladimir Putin for his ability to just be a presence and strike fear in everybody, and yet at the same time, like, he's looked up to as like a grand leader, but at the same time he's just like, I don't like the man, I don't like his things.
Oh, sure. All women look like men.
No, but like then to take that and
This
put
explains why you have that picture of him topless on a horse with Trump in your room.
What? That doesn't exist whatsoever. But no, but to take his characteristics as a guy that strikes fear to just exist himself, and then cast it on a character as a mafia foot soldier.
Could you say he's a bit of a phenom?
What?
It's an Undertaker reference.
I thought you
know
were
A
that.
phenom is
AJ.
just someone who has... No, that's
AJ
phenomenal.
Styles.
Phenom is someone who just has a fucking presence.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh.
he's got a
basically.
fucking presence.
You
Yeah.
know that Putin was KGB, right?
Probably.
Not like he was legitimately KGB.
I probably read it somewhere.
I think he ran the KGB at some point, maybe.
I think
Someone fact check
yeah,
that.
He was.
Yeah.
I remember reading something on there for that. He was ex-KGB, and then he had a lot of, not necessarily special forces, but a lot of that undercover background stuff. And like for his character to play that as a foot soldier, I mean, it makes a lot more sense because he's an undercover cop.
There's a reason that a lot of people have that same sentiment about Putin, thinking like they wish, like, this was a big thing when Obama was president. People were like, yeah, well, he ain't like Putin because Putin can kick people's asses and he rides horse. What Obama do? He plays the basketball and he wears daddy jeans. It's like he ain't no Putin. And
I like how they don't understand that's propaganda.
right.
Putin on a horse, Putin working, that's all an image.
But he's also actually a dangerous man.
No, yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
But
But that's the
It's not propaganda
Also a
on the
fucking
North
spy.
Korea level
yeah.
of propaganda.
Well, so people like to like focus on that. Would be, I would say, the positive aspect is that Putin has a KGB background, has the like physical military background. He embodies a lot of like American mystique in that form, where like he's a man's man. But then they look past all like the war
the
crimes,
shitty things.
you know,
Yeah.
let's not focus on the bad. That's fake news.
To be fair.
he's a man's man.
To be
but
fair.
he's not a homo.
To be fair, what is a government other than a really high level gang?
Right.
That's,
Yeah.
Like, let's be honest. That's
Police
what it is.
force.
It's a Congress.
Military.
That's why, like,
The Senate.
that's why no matter how shitty our government is, I'm just happy that we have a super good gang. like we're the Corleones over here. Like us and Russia and probably like
There ain't no
China
triads.
have like you know, I would rather be associated with the shady government that is winning. Like I'm
If
not
you
a good
had your
person.
choice.
Yeah, I for one welcome the robot overlords as well. So,
Switch
like,
teams. Change
yeah.
teams.
Can we? What's while we're on Putin too? What's your guys' favorite Putin moment?
Putin on the Ritz.
Ooh, what's yours?
I believe there was one where they had like really pretty ladies marching around, and he was caught staring.
Oh. Do you mean the one where a chick like takes her top off and he's just like,
Does he do like a whisper point? Like
I don't
she,
remember, but I
me.
just remember that one. And then there was one other one where the dude either stole his pen or Putin took his pen or some shit like that. It was a hard power move.
No,
Putin gave him the pen.
No, it was an NFL.
Don't take mine. That's mine. Don't take mine.
Oh,
that's a different one.
Okay, that's yours. You go ahead.
What's the one I was talking about?
So Putin has, like, they're all signing some like bill to pass basically, and then there's this one guy that I believe was not wanting to sign it. So Putin walks over with the bill, puts it in front of him, and then puts the pen on the table and stands there. And the guy signs it, and I think he puts the pen in his pocket like out of habit. And Putin just stands there and waits, and then the guy's finally like, oh, like he was dead if he doesn't get that pen back. So the NFL one is my favorite one. The Patriots have won 7 Super Bowls now, but at this point I think they'd won 5. And their owner is Robert Kraft, who is kind of a dickhead, and it makes sense why he's wanting to go hang out with Putin, right? So he's over there, and Putin's like, I like ring, let me see. And he looks at it, he's like, oh yeah, it's very nice ring. That's very cool. I like this ring. And puts it in his pocket. And Bobby Kraft does nothing. He's just like, well, that one's gone.
Can I get my ring back?
This is totally mine now.
He's like, you're right. I got 4 other ones, I guess.
My favorite part of that is he did talk to the American ambassador, the White House, and they said it would be better for diplomatic relations if you just let Putin keep the ring. I think he did get the ring back though eventually.
The only thing that would have made it better is if every day after that Putin wore that ring. Like you see him doing the State of the Union or whatever they have, and he's sitting here with like a Patriots ring on.
Replace it with a sickle and hammer though.
Yeah.
Just I won Super Bowl. Look at me, I'm so great.
Anyways, my MVP was Viggo Mortensen, the person. Because it's just the commitment of that fight scene naked. Like he already like had me sold after just like the stoicness and like how kind of terrifying he was.
They didn't use stunt doubles, and he legit did that. And
I am not surprised.
That's insane.
It's legitimately his penis flopping around.
If I needed anything else to push me over the edge to pick him to be like, whatever, you fucking deserve it, it was the butt naked fighting scene. Like,
here's your gold star.
How many takes on a wet floor, cold,
naked,
chafing probably, with like a couple of swipes that get kind of close to the jewels, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's commitment. I couldn't do that.
It's a lot of choreography.
Couldn't do it.
Like, I feel like maybe they practiced the scene several times, clothed.
No, I bet he was naked every time because you have to know the physics of where it's gonna swing. You know, you gotta know how close you can get before you take a little bit off the top. Who needs 2 circumcisions? Cool. So I think that was Eastern Promises.
Yeah.
What? You said a rom-com next week, right?
Oh, God,
no.
please don't.
God, no.
Or a hard drama.
I have no idea what I'm gonna do for a film yet.
So
did we do John Wick at all?
That's what I was gonna recommend. But I don't think we have, and it ties into this one fairly well, and he hasn't seen it.
So now you
haven't done John Wick?
Surprisingly, no.
Well, I think it was too obvious because
John Wick 2 came out.
Had come out. Yeah.
I was thinking about doing it.
Yeah. And we couldn't get back when we used to do like themes, we didn't really have anything that tied in super well.
So when you guys started,
January
you
was the
sent
closest.
me something, and then I watched yours, and then immediately afterwards there was a John Wick review.
By Movies with Mike?
Yeah.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh, okay.
Maybe
that's why I'm thinking about it.
Yep, it was a movie.
There we go. So yeah, I'll go watch John Wick, and then... Or should I even bother watching it beforehand?
If you want. I mean,
Go right
it's
ahead.
equally good watching it again.
Give yourself two times, do a little bit more analysis.
Double the pleasure, double the fun.
Well, I mean, the thing is, the only problem I have kind of doing the format we're doing, like if it's a movie I haven't seen, watching it once, you see it for the spectacle. But if you watch it a second time, you get a little bit more grasp on it.
That's kind of why I kind of like doing that. It's kind of a raw...
Right.
These are my initial
And
thoughts.
that's why I also like doing it this way, but I feel like it's... Yeah, I don't know. Coming in with the topic is kind of a little bit on the fly. Ruins the film for me when I have to do research, but I still enjoyed it.
Thank God we didn't do History of Violence, because I did not like that movie.
Good.
Fair enough. But yeah, no, I'll figure something out and I'll get to you guys about that one. But yeah, that's all I have. I'll do my audience engagement part. What did you guys think? Basically, have you seen a film like this or would recommend something along those lines? I was actually going to do that. I have that inserted at the bottom of this. Let us know in the comments below. Do the thing where you like, subscribe if you so feel like it. But, you know.
If I do this long enough, I'll pass out.
Probably.
Actually, it's down here.
Thanks for sticking with us. Have a good night.
Yeah, I just over it. Papa's going to sleep. Papa.
Oh, you know what I forgot?
What's up?
The sword that was broken was not made whole because he was flaccid the entire time.
Don't worry, this will be going on while we're blurry.
Oh, that's right. I love the blurry bits now.